Good evening, students. Let's start with part 2, chemical equation and balancing of chapter number 1. Yesterday we have talked about chemical reactions. Today we will move further with chemical equation. So chemical equation is nothing else but a shorthand method of representing a chemical reaction in terms of symbols and formula of the different reactants and products. To explain the reaction between zinc and sulfuric acid, for example, what we write is zinc react with dilute sulfuric acid to form zinc sulfate and give out hydrogen gas. Now this is a statement for us. Let us see how can we represent this statement or this chemical reaction in the form of chemical equation. So there are two ways of representing this long sentence in equation form. First is in terms of words, we call it as word equation. And second is in terms of symbols and formulae, we call it chemical equation. Let's see how it can be used for the above reaction. Now this can be written, just see, I am giving you word equation and chemical equation for it. Zinc plus sulfuric acid will give, I am showing it with arrow, zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. Now this is a word equation for the above statement, and chemical equation is Zn plus H2SO4, arrow ZnSO4 plus H2. Now this is using symbols and chemical formulas in it, right? So these are the two ways in which we can write about a chemical equation. One is word equation and another is chemical equation. Now what are the characteristics of both the chemical equation? First is both the equations, in both the equations the name of reactant is written always on the left hand side, called as LHS, with plus sign between them, that is zinc plus sulfuric acid. Number 2, the symbol and formula of the product are written on the right hand side, RHS, with plus sign between them, that is zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. Third is an arrow sign is put between the reactant and the product, pointing from the reactant toward the products. Now next one is a unbalanced or skeletal chemical equation. Now the chemical equation which we are looking above, they are generally of two type. One is unbalanced and another is a balanced equation. Let us see first of all unbalanced or skeletal chemical equation. Now this is an equation in which the number of atoms of different elements are not equal on two sides, that is LHS and RHS. Mean the number of reactant, they are never equal to the number of product in this case, in most of the cases. Now if you look at the example, I am giving you KClO3, potassium chlorate will change into KCl plus O2. In this equation, if you look at, we have taken three elements, potassium, chlorine and oxygen. Now potassium, number of atoms, they are 1 on the left hand side, and if you look it on the right hand side after the arrow, they are also 1 in number. Chlorine atom, that is 1 on the left side and 1 on the right side, whereas if you look at the oxygen, that is 3 on the left hand side or reactant side and 2 on the product side. So this means there is a difference in the oxygen atom on left and right hand side. That is why this is an unbalanced chemical equation. Now next one is number of atoms of reactant and product are not equal on both the sides. So therefore it's an unbalanced or skeletal chemical equation. But we can always balance this equation. We can balance this unbalanced equation, then we will call it as a balanced chemical equation. So this is an equation in which number of atoms of different elements, they are equal on two sides, that is LHS and RHS of the equation. For example, if you look at this equation, Zn plus H2SO4 will give ZnSO4 plus H2. In this equation, number of atoms on both the sides are as follows. Number of different elements are zinc, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. Zinc is 1 on both the sides. If you see here, hydrogen is 2 on both the sides, sulfur is 1 on both the sides and oxygen atom, they are 4 on both the sides. This means number of atom of reactant and products, they are equal on both the sides. Therefore, it is called a balanced chemical equation. Students, you know that equation should always be balanced because it is very important. It has importance. Importance lies that it satisfies the law of conservation of mass. That is, in a chemical reaction, total mass of all the products should be equal to the total mass of all the reactants. This means mass on the left hand side should always be equal to the mass on the right hand side. Therefore, every unbalanced chemical equation should be converted to the balanced chemical equation. Only then it is right. Now next is, what are the steps involved in balancing an unbalanced chemical equation? That means if we want to convert an unbalanced equation to the balanced chemical equation, there is one very common method. There are various methods, but in your course, this is the method mentioned, that is hit and trial method. Now, the first step is that to write the word equation. Second is to write the skeletal chemical equation. Number third, to enclose the formula in boxes. Number 4, to list the number of atoms in different elements on LHS and RHS. Step number 5, to select the biggest formula to start balancing. Step number 6, to start balancing of different elements. Number 7, to check the correctness of the balanced equation. And number 8, to mention states of reactant and products. So these are 8 steps. इनको हम एक एक करके लेंगे और इनको हम एक एक करके समझेंगे कि ये किस तरह से स्टेप्स हमें फॉलो करने हैं जब हम बैलेंस करेंगे किसी इक्वेशन को. Now let us see step number 1. That is to write the word equation. Now what is our equation or what is our chemical reaction? That is, steam is passed over heated iron to form magnetic oxide of iron, that is Fe2O3 and hydrogen. For this is a statement for us that कि हमने एक स्टीम को पास किया है, रेड आयरन, हॉट आयरन है, उसके ऊपर से पास किया और मैग्नेटिक ऑक्साइड बना है जिसका फॉर्मूला Fe2O3 है और साथ में हाइड्रोजन रिलीज हुआ है. ये हमारी केमिकल कंडीशन है, ये केमिकल रिएक्शन है. नाउ लेट अस सी हाउ वी हैव रिटन इट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ केमिकल equation. Now this is iron plus steam will give magnetic oxide of iron plus hydrogen. Now reactants are there, products are there. Reactants are iron and steam, whereas products are magnetic oxides of iron and hydrogen. Now our step number 2 is to write the skeletal equation of it. Iron Fe, steam is H2O, magnetic oxide of iron is Fe3O4 and hydrogen is H2. This is our step number 2. We have written it in the skeletal form. Now step number 3, to enclose the formula in boxes. Now next thing which we have done is we have enclosed all of them in a box. Fe plus H2O gives Fe3O4 plus H2. Now this is very important step where we will enclose all of them in a box. Now then we will follow step number 4. Fourth step में to list the number of atom of different elements on left hand right hand side. हम list करेंगे उन atoms को जो कि left hand side पर हैं और right hand side पर हैं. Let us see it once again. Now this is for iron is 1 on the reactant side and 3 on the product side. Hydrogen is 2 and 2. Oxygen is 1 and 4, right and left hand side respectively. Now step number 5, to select the biggest formula Fe3O4. So out of this we will select the biggest formula from the equation and we will start balancing of the equation. Balancing of the element with highest number of atom in this particular formula. If we look in this formula, this Fe3O4, this is the biggest formula in the equation. We will select it first. Second step is that we will select the highest number of atom in Fe3O4. If we look at Fe3O4, there are 3 iron atoms, Fe atoms and 4 oxygen atoms. Therefore, we will select oxygen first for the balancing. So this will be our first step where we will balance oxygen in it. So there are 4 O atoms on RHS, right? And only 1 oxygen atom on left hand side. To balance the oxygen, multiply H2O on left hand side by 4. This is what we have done, is that we have multiplied this with 4 in front of it. So in this case oxygen is 4 here, and on the right hand side also oxygen is 4 in number. Right? I hope you got that. If you look at the original equation, you will find that there is only one oxygen. This 4 we have put later on. Oxygen is only one on the left hand side, whereas on the right hand side they are 4 in number. That's why, so as to balance them together, we have put a 4 in front of it. Right? Now next step is that to start balancing of iron atom on both the side. Now next atom in Fe3O4 is iron, so we will balance it. Now if you look at the Fe on the left hand side, it was only 1, whereas on the right hand side it was 3 in number. That is why, since it is less on the left hand side, we will put that particular number in front so as to balance. So 3 on the left hand side and 3 iron on the right hand side. So this is how we have balanced iron also. Now next one is to balance hydrogen atom. Third element is hydrogen. Now if you look at the left hand side, now there are 8 hydrogen atoms. 4 into 2, that is 8 hydrogen atoms on the left hand side, whereas if you look at the right hand side, they were only 2 in number, and we have balanced them by putting 4 in front of that, so that now at that moment, and at this moment, hydrogen are 4 on the left hand side and 4 on the right hand side. So हम दोनों elements को हमने balance किया है by putting a digit in the front of it. So now next one is now if you look at it, let us see if we are correct or not. All elements we have tried to balance them. Let us see we are correct or not. Iron, if you look at the above equation, iron is 3 on the left hand side and 3 on the right hand side. 3 left hand side and 3 is on the right hand side. Hydrogen is 8 on the left hand side and 8 on the right hand side. Oxygen now is 4 on the left hand side and 4 on the right hand side. Hence our equation is balanced now. This is how these equations are balanced, from the skeletal to the balanced equation, by a very basic method, that is hit and trial method. Now the last step, students, is that we will not leave this equation as such. We will mention their states at the foot of these formulas. हम उनके पास में उनकी स्टेट्स को भी मेंशन करेंगे. जैसे आयरन हमारा सॉलिड है, ऊपर ही बोला कि आयरन के ऊपर स्टीम को पास किया गया और आयरन ऑक्साइड और हाइड्रोजन बना. दिस मीन्स आयरन जो था वो सॉलिड था, और हम सॉलिड को हमेशा एस की फॉर्म में ब्रैकेट करके लगा देंगे एट द एंड. और स्टीम यू नो दैट इज़ अ गैसियस फॉर्म ऑफ वाटर, तो हम उसे पैर में जी लगाएंगे. और Fe3O4 जो है दैट इज़ ऑल्सो सॉलिड, सो वी विल राइट एज सॉलिड. एंड H2 हाइड्रोजन गैस है और उसे हम गैस की फॉर्म में लिखेंगे. इफ़ यू लुक हियर that there are other states also, like solutions. If you mix a salt in water, that will become a solution, right? तो आप उसे aqueous की फॉर्म में लिखते हैं, AQ. That is written as AQ. That means aqueous. It is different from the liquid. You know water, if you take only water, आप अकेला पानी लेते हैं तो उसे लिक्विड लिखेंगे. अगर आप उसी पानी के अंदर सॉल्ट घोलते हैं या कोई और सॉल्ट मिक्स कर देते हैं, तब वो एक्वस सॉल्यूशन बन जाता है. सो आपको कोई भी सॉल्ट मिलता है वो सॉलिड फॉर्म में होता है, उसे आप पानी में घोलते हैं तो वो सॉल्यूशन फॉर्म में आता है, जिसे हम AQ लिखते हैं. दैट मीन्स एक्वस सॉल्यूशन, दैट इज रिटन एज AQ, राइट. नाउ आफ्टर दैट इज वी हैव अ डाउन एरो फॉर precipitates and upward arrow for any gas like hydrogen or carbon dioxide. We will put them. So these are the basic things which we should also take care of. Now next is Now let's answer the following question based on the balancing of chemical equation. Let us practice and see whether we are able to to solve these equations or not. Whether we are able to solve or skeletal equation to the balanced equation. For your help, I am giving a chart here. If you look here, this was there in your chapter number 3 in class 9th, where positive ions are given to you, cations and anions are also given to you. Now these two, they will be able to form a chemical compound. For example, sodium. If we take sodium chloride, sodium is positive in charge, that will come first, followed by the chloride ion. Now you will pick up sodium from the formula given here, Na plus, and chloride from the another Cl minus. So I have written it with the valency. You know that how to make the formulas. Now there will be exchange of valencies, Na1 and Cl1, and compound form will be NaCl. Similarly, Na with valency +1 and oxide with valency 2 minus, when we exchange them, this will be Na2O1, and the formula formed is Na2O. Third one is aluminium oxide, aluminium with valency 3 plus and oxide with 2 minus, and it will form Al2O3. So these are the formulas formed. So you will be able to make compound. This is just a revision for you. It's a help for you so that you can easily make formulas for the coming up equations, right? So let us see first one, that write the balanced equation for the following chemical reactions. First is hydrogen and chlorine, that will form hydrogen chloride. Now if you look at hydrogen, this is written as H2, and Cl2, this is HCl. I have written a skeletal equation first for it. Now if you see here, hydrogen are 2 in number, but on the right hand side they are only 1 in number. So that's why I will put 2 here in front of it. Now since it is 2 in number, my chloride ion will be 2 also, and if I check on the left hand side, that is also 2 in number. This means now my equation is balanced, since both the atoms on the left hand side, they are equal to the atom on the right hand side. Similarly, second equation I have selected is barium chloride plus some aluminium sulfate will form barium sulfate and aluminium chloride. From the above table, I have made their chemical compounds, that is BaCl2 plus Al2SO4 whole thrice, that will form BaSO4 plus AlCl3. You can also make it from the above table. Now this is my skeletal equation, right? Now if I look here, I will find that my barium atoms are only 1 on the left hand side, and similarly it is 1 on the right hand side. Chloride, they are 2 on the left hand side, whereas they are 3 on the right hand side. This means that I will balance it in this way, that I will multiply the Cl2 with 3 in front, and on the right hand side I will multiply this chlorine with 2 in front of it, so that if I multiply them together, they will be 6 in number, and on right hand side that will also be 6 in number. But my aluminium is now 2 in number, so if I check it on the left hand side, that is also 2 in number. So this is also balanced. If I look at SO4, that was only 3 on the left hand side originally, but since I have put 3 here, so this is also, this SO4 complete is 3 in number. You need not to separate these atoms, they will move as a polyatomic anion. So this will be 3 in number. Now if finally we will find that 3 barium equal to 3 barium, 6 chloride is equal to 6 chloride, 2 aluminium is equal to 2 aluminium, 3 sulfate will be equal to 3 sulfate. This means now my equation is balanced. Now next equation, you have to do it yourself. I am giving it to you, this you have to do it yourself. So try to solve it with the help of above table. Write a second question, write a balanced chemical equation with the state symbol for the following reaction. Now look at it, I am giving you another form of equation, that is a word equation. Now if you look here, I am writing here solution of barium chloride and sodium sulfate in water react to give insoluble barium sulfate and the solution of sodium chloride. Now this is in the word form. Now if I want to convert it into the, first I have to convert this word equation into the symbol form. If you look here, solution of barium chloride. Okay, first is solution of barium chloride, that is BaCl2 aqueous. Since its solution I will put here aqueous, and for and I'll put here plus. Sodium sulfate in water, this means sodium sulfate aqueous solution which is made in water, so that's why I'll put here aqueous. React to give, mean arrow, it demands arrow. Insoluble barium sulfate, I'll put here BSO4, and for insoluble, that is PPT, that is precipitate. And for word and, I'll put here plus. And solution of sodium chloride, that is NaCl aqueous. Since it's a solution, I'll put here aqueous. First I will take only a skeletal equation out of it, and then I will balance. When I have balanced it, I have put here 2 before NaCl. So this is another way where we'll write a simple equation from the word equation. This you should also know how to write it. So I am leaving a next equation for you so that you can easily make out of it. That is sodium hydroxide in solution in water, that is an aqueous solution, react with is plus hydrochloric acid HCl aqueous to produce is arrow, then sodium chloride solution NaCl aqueous, and plus, and water is H2O. So try to do it yourself, right, and convert it into the symbol form and then balance the equation. Now next one is translate the equations given here. First one, now I'm giving you a question bank. Now do it yourself, students. First is you have to translate these ones into the equation form, into the symbol form, and then balance. Try to do it yourself, right? Next question is that balance the following equations. Now I'm giving you a symbol equation already, formula equation. Now try to balance it yourself. I hope that you will be able to do it. So fifth is write the balance equation for the following equation. Again another form where I am giving you word equation, convert first into the symbol equation and then balance them, right? Number 6 is that translate the following statement into chemical equation and then balance them. Next is 7, balance the following equation. Number of equations, 10 equations I am giving you to balance them. And last is complete the missing component or variables given as x and y in the following reaction. I am giving you x and y in red color. You have to find out, you have to assess it. What is it? It may be the state, it may be the numerator, it may be like that. You have to find out what is missing in it. Now if you solve this equation, now then your all the equations will be balanced with it, right? Try to solve. If you find any problem in finding it, you can ask me also. Thank you very much for listening me for chemical equation, and if you need my help you can also ask me, and do subscribe and share the video. Thank you very much.